Hey, sports fans, PB&Z Sports Chaos. And you know what time it is? It's mock draft time 2024. We're going to give you our predictions on how the draft should go. Although some of the NFL draft pickers out there may not choose our picks unwisely on their behalf, I'll say.
Yeah,
But
I mean
we'll run through it.
last year we did pretty well. I PB personally had 7 exact picks out of 32. That's pretty impressive. And I had one other correct player going to the right team, just in a different order. So hey, almost 25% of the draft. That's pretty, and it's documented. But we're gonna hit it again this year.
All right, man. Let's get started. Number one, the Bears. Do they hold on to the pick?
Hold on the pick. They're taking Caleb. I think that's a consensus top pick right there. How about you?
Yeah, I same thing. Although I do not think he's the best quarterback, but they are going to take him. So we'll see what happens there.
All right.
All right, this is where it gets a little interesting. A lot of stories going on. The Commanders are up next. What do you think they do?
They're definitely holding on to the pick. I think they've already kind of made that clear. They're not trading away. The question is, do they go Drake May here or do they go Daniels here? That's the big question. For my own selfish reasons for the Patriots, I hope they go Daniels because I think Drake May would be a better fit. I think he's a better NFL style quarterback. And just because that's what I want to happen, I'm going to say they do take Jaden Daniels here at number 2.
I think they take Daniels as well. I don't think that the next pick that you just said on the Pats is the wise pick with Drake May, but I want to hear your thoughts on that. So you're saying Pats are going to take Drake May?
Yeah, I think if Washington takes Drake May, the Patriots are more likely to trade out of that pick, trade down, and go after like a Michael Penix as an example. But I think May is their guy. I think if Washington goes Daniels, the Patriots hold on and take Drake May. That's my feeling. So I'm going to go Drake May for the Patriots at number 3. Unless Drake May goes second, then the Patriots will trade out.
I'd like to see them trade regardless because I think they can get a quarterback just as good later on between Michael Penix or Bo Nix. But unfortunately, they're not going to trade. And you're right, Jalen Williams will go to the Commanders, although Gerard Mayo has made reference to the point that he would rather have a running quarterback. And so I think he would rather have Jalen Williams if he was available, but they'll take Drake May because, Elliot Wolf wants him.
Just for clarification, Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. So yeah. So I think Drake May will get picked because Elliot Wolf, I think, wants him, but he's going to make him sit on the bench for a year anyways.
All right. So we're the same on all 3 so far.
Yeah. What do you get next here at the number 4?
At number 4, I mean, it's got to be Marvin Harrison Jr. here, best receiver in the draft. Obviously, team that's not going to be going after a quarterback. I don't see them trading out. I think they want to get a stud, bona fide wide receiver. And that's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. That's what I got going for.
I got this. They're very, very enticed to make a trade. I would not be surprised to see them make a trade. A lot of the drafts or mock drafts out there have them making a trade. I think you're right. They hold on. By the way, there's a lot of people out there that played in the league, including a guy I respect a lot on ESPN, Louis Riddick, who thinks the better receiver is Malik Neighbors, but they do take Marvin Harrison, I think, at this point in time, the Cards.
All right. So we're all 4 the same so far. Okay, this is where it gets interesting, too, at number 5 here with the Chargers.
Yeah. What do you got?
I think they trade out of this pick. I think the Chargers are going to go in. I mean, the Vikings are going to go in heavy for a quarterback here. They're going to see those top 3 quarterbacks come off the board. They know they're picking 11. That's behind. That's behind the Jets. That's behind the that's behind the Chargers. You know, obviously Denver's picking right there. I think they just got to make a move and get up and get the guy they want. I think it's JJ McCarthy. And the other reason why, obviously, because of Harbaugh, his ties to Michigan, I just have a feeling he's going to go after McCarthy. So they trade up here. I'm sorry. Obviously, I just said he's going to go to Minnesota. That's another reason why Minnesota will make the trade because they're going to feel like with Harbaugh, he might go out and do something crazy. I don't know. But bottom line is Minnesota trades up, gets McCarthy. They need a quarterback after trading Cousins. So that's my pick there.
I am with you on that. I got the same pick. I got them trading that thing with the Vikings Vikings taking JJ McCarthy, and not because they're worried about any of the other teams between them and 11. It's because they're afraid one of the other teams will make a trade with Denver or the Raiders, and McCarthy will go there. So they're only doing it to stop the other teams from moving in and making that trade. And by the way, one of those other teams could make the trade. Either way, I don't know if Vikings get him or JJ at 5. I think JJ goes at 5 though to somebody.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. So
And
that's
it's not so it's not so certain the Vikings, but it's somebody goes there and gets them.
because you think Denver might trade up, or you think Oakland might trade up, or Vegas might trade up, or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, we both think it's going to be Minnesota. And that's interesting because so far we're the same, including the mock trade. So that's crazy. Giants next.
Giants are the one wild card in this whole thing because they're the freaking Giants, who I hate absolutely. Lagori, if you're listening, buddy, your boys are going to make a big mistake. I have a feeling, but I'm going to say right now, they don't make a mistake. They make the smartest move they could, taking probably the best receiver, according to Louis Riddick, and they take Malik Neighbors. But it is the Giants, and I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I feel the same way as you there. And, you know, they got to decide if they're going to be all in on Daniel Jones here, what their deal is. But I also have them taking Malik Neighbors at number 6. So we still haven't veered off of each other at all thus far through the first 6 picks. So, hey, and we did not collaborate ahead of time or anything, folks.
No. All right, number 7, Tennessee. This is probably the most solid pick of all on the board.
Yep.
Every mock draft I've seen has this one guy. Who is it?
Yeah, and we know that right now it looks like the first round is going to be chock full of offensive linemen, specifically offensive tackles. They made a big investment last year in drafting Will Levis. I think he's going to be the guy there in Tennessee. So you got to start building around that, right? And what do? You protect him and give him a good offensive line. You take Joe Alt here.
Yeah, Joe Wall will be number 1. I got you. Same
All
thing.
right.
All right, Atlanta. This is where it gets a little dicey again. What do you think? Atlanta, they're on record as needing an edge player, but there's a lot of rumors out there they might take the wrong guy. Who do you think?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking hard about, because right now, to your point, with the acquisition of Kirk Cousins and the other offensive weapons they have in Bijan and Drake London and Kyle Pitts, I think offensively this team's in a pretty good space, right? So what are they going to do? They're probably going to go edge. The question is it Dallas Turner or is it Jared Verse? That's really the big question here. I'm going to say they're going to go with Dallas Turner. I think I know there's a lot of debate that Jared Verse is actually the better edge rusher out of the two, but I think Atlanta's going to go Turner here. So that's what I got going for number 8.
I got one even crazier. I think it should be Turner, but it's not going to be. It's going to be Latu
Okay.
from Washington.
All right. I have him going pretty, not too far down here too, but not there. So, all right. That's where our first different pick there at number 8. Okay.
All right. The Bears. Now, this is a team that could go edge as well. I don't know. What do you think?
I actually have, interestingly enough, the Chargers traded out of the number 5 pick to Minnesota, which means they'd be sitting at 11 right now.
Yeah.
Now they're going to trade back in to the top 10 with Chicago. So Chicago will now have the 11th pick.
Oh, okay.
Amount of stuff. The Chargers are going to trade up. The reason why they're going to trade up is they know Rome Odunze is the best wide receiver on the board right now. They know they need a wide receiver given all the people that left there. And I think those top 3, when you're talking about Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Rome Odunze, that really rounds it out. Jets have expressed interest in Odunze. The Bears have figured they could do a nice little combo with Caleb Williams and then get Odunze at this pick right here too. So there's 2 teams right there that could get him. I think the Chargers now trade back up, and they'll be okay to do that because they'll get the assets from trading out of the 5. So they'll be okay. And now at number 9, the Chargers take Rome Odunze.
Ooh, all right. 100% wrong. Bears take Odunze. They don't even think twice about it.
All right. Okay. All right. But we've got the same guy going in that spot.
Yes.
I just have him going to a different team. Okay.
All right. Number 10, the Jets.
Yeah. And the Jets will be pissed because I think they wanted to try and maybe go after Odunze. So I have them going after the next best offensive tackles. I said, I think this draft is chock full of offensive tackles out of Penn State. Fashanu. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his first name. but Fasano is his last name, and that's who the Jets will go after. The Jets fans will be pissed, but you know what? If they want to keep Aaron Rodgers upright, protect him, utilize the weapons that they've drafted over the last few years. They got Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, guys like that who can be explosive. They need to be able to have a good offensive lineman in that scheme. So I'm going for Fasano here.
That's you know what? The Jets are a 1 or 2 and done, right? Given Aaron Rodgers' age. They've already signed 3 offensive linemen in the offseason, including Tyron Smith from the Dallas Cowboys, who can play 11 games for you. I don't think they make the move. The one weakness they have is tight end. They take the best tight end on the board, probably the best tight end in the last 4 years. Brock Bowers goes to the Jets.
All right, that's a good pick. I like that. I haven't gone a couple picks down here, but all right. So now we got 11, which would be for you. It would be the Chargers because you have them
Yes.
coming out of that with the Vikings. For me, it's the Bears because I had them flopping again with Chargers trading back in. So I got the Bears here going after their edge guy, Jared Verse. Jared Verse is still on the board here, and the Bears can grab him. And I think that's part of their strategy of dropping down out of Odunze because that's going to really improve and help that team defensively. I think they've made a lot of offensive offseason moves, and this will be a big defensive add for them.
Ooh, okay. I've got Brian Thomas. So Chargers go up and they take Brian Thomas, who's probably the 5th or 4th best receiver, depending on who you talk to.
Ryan Thomas Jr., you got him going that high, huh? All right.
Yeah.
I think it's a little high for another receiver at this point, but all right.
They need a receiver, not desperately, but they could use one. Obviously, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are gone. All they got is Quentin Jackson for Johnson from last year, who did not show what he can do. But I think they go with Brian Thomas, who's a safe pick. And
Okay.
some say that he could be as good as the guy that was playing next to him. So Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right, Broncos next.
Broncos.
But you got Broncos traded, right?
No, I got the Broncos at 12.
Okay.
Yep, I got the Broncos at 12. And you got the Raiders right behind them at 13. 2 teams that are seeking quarterbacks. I think this is the Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr. opportunity right here. And just who do they prefer? Who do they want? For some reason, I just picture Bo Nix in a Broncos uniform, and I picture Michael Penix Jr. in a Raiders uniform. I don't know why. It's just something like my brain is like, I can't picture Michael Penix Jr. in a Bronco uniform. And I can't picture Bo Nix in a Raiders uniform. It's just this weird psychological thing I have going on right now. So I'm going Bo Nix 12 to Denver, and then Michael Penix Jr. right after that to the Raiders at 13, which would mean you'd have 5 quarterbacks off the board in the top 13 picks.
So I'm going totally the other way, man. I think neither team is convinced that that's the right place for either one of those guys. They're hoping to make a little trade later. But I got the Broncos taking Jared Verse, the edge rusher. And I got the Raiders going with an offensive tackle, J.C. Latham from Bama.
Okay. Those are 2 great picks. I got them as first round as 2. I just have them going a little bit further down.
So let's go 14. Who you get there?
14 Saints. I think they go offensive line. I got Fuaga out of Oregon State. I think that can help that team.
That's a good move. I got the guy that's left that you already picked earlier, but I got the guy from Penn State, Oli or whatever, Fasanu.
Fasanu. Okay. All right. So we're not too far off there, just different spots, but kind of in the same grouping.
Yep.
Next with the Colts is where I got who have the Jets taken. I don't think man, Brock Bowers might not fall this far, but if he does fall to 15, I think the Colts will jump all over that. They've struggled a little bit at tight end in the past. With Anthony Richardson there and him coming back off of his injury. You know, a couple other pieces with Pittman. I think they can really help this offense, passing wise. So I'm going to go Brock Bowers to the Colts at 15.
Many of the mock drafts I've seen said they need a defensive back. The one I'm going with is Quentin Mitchell out of Toledo.
Okay. It's a good pick. I got him again going pretty soon here. And here's where I go back to something you took a little bit earlier as well. At 16, I got the Seahawks going after an offensive lineman too. And I got them drafting Fasano out of Washington at this point.
I do too. They've been able to see him for the last couple of years because he's right down the street, right? So
yeah, but didn't you take him already?
No.
I thought you did.
No, I took the guy from Penn State, and who's the other offensive tackle I took? I got Joe Walt, Yeah, that's it. Those are the only two offensive tackles I've taken so
Oh,
far.
okay. Oh, no, you took Latu. That's probably what I'm getting confused
Yeah,
with.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who's not even I mean, he's an edge rusher, but I just the name, all these names
Yeah,
sound the same, you know? So, all right. So we both got Furtado going at 16.
yep.
All right. Yeah, I think it's a good pick, right? And he's sitting right there in Washington and go play for Seattle. Why not? All right, that's the top half of the first round. Now we're going into the second half of the top of the first round.
So we
We
got the
got
Jags next, right?
yeah, Jags neck. And this is my first corner, I think, off the board. I haven't had no corners taken yet. Typically, you see corners go in the top 10 somewhere, usually a couple of them sometimes, right?
Yep.
And you had one corner.
Yeah, I
So
did.
you took Mitchell, right? Had Mitchell.
Yep.
Other than that, we haven't had any corners. I think the best corner in the draft, I have Quinton Mitchell's my second. So my best corner in the draft I have is Terrion Arnold with Alabama. So I got Jacksonville taking Terrion Arnold to help boost that defense a little bit.
By the way, I got him as well going there, and only for one reason. There's a lot of stories out there. They really like Brian Thomas, and Chargers surprising on Brian Thomas ruins that for them. But if Thomas was available, I got the Jags taking him. But right now, it's Terry and Arnold based on my mark, so I got Arnold as well.
Okay. All right. Cool. Two in a row there, the same in the middle of the draft. All right.
Bengals.
This one we won't have the same because I think you took him in an earlier pick to a different team, but this is where I have J.C. Latham going, offensive lineman out of Alabama. We know they need to protect Burrow. We know there's been some offensive line woes with that team. So he's the next best offensive tackle, which, as I said, this is a nice draft for offensive tackles, I think. So I'm going Latham out of Alabama.
I'm with you. They would like to have an offensive lineman here, but I think they can't pass up the best interior lineman on the board right now, and that's Brian Murphy from Texas.
Yeah, that's a really good pick.
They see him as the next Aaron Donald, and so
right.
I think the Bengals say, you know what, we got to make this move. So I see them taking down Brian Murphy, but I can easily see an offensive tackle being taken here as well.
Right. But I think he would equally help that Murphy would equally help that team's defense too. So that wouldn't be a bad pick there. I have him going in the first round, but believe it or not, I have him going a little bit further down. All right, Rams. This is where I have Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo going a little bit further down than what you had him, but I think the Rams could use some help at corner.
Yeah, that's a good pick. So I originally had thought Jared Verse here, but I've already taken Jared Verse otherwise, right? So I got a surprise pick for you. You already picked him earlier. I got him going here. Believe it or not, I got none other than Bo Nix.
Oh, they're all at the heir apparent to Stafford, huh?
Yeah, I've heard too many stories talking about they can't pass up a chance to take this. So I got Bo Nix going to the Rams.
All right. That's an interesting pick, but I like it. All right. Steelers are up next. They traded up last year to snag an offensive lineman, right, from the Patriots. I think they go offensive lineman again here. I think they're trying to build a system around their two quarterbacks that they just acquired in the offseason.
By the way, breaking news. I don't know if you saw this. Steelers are not picking up the 5th-year option on Justin Fields. Why would you make that trade not to pick up the option? I don't get it.
Yeah, that's right. I know they're an interesting team that I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but we know that they also got rid of Deontay Johnson, right? So
yeah,
could they go in for a quarterback here? I mean,
wide receiver,
maybe, but I actually haven't taken Amarius Mims, offensive tackle out of Georgia at this point.
Okay. That's a good pick. I got him taking the better interior lineman at this point in time, which is Graham Barton from Duke.
Oh, I got him going a couple spots down to your Cowboys here at 24. So I think that would be his best landing spot if he falls there. But all right. Next
Dolphins.
There's the Dolphins. So
this one I don't have a good read on. I picked a guy that just because I'm not sure. I got Jerzon Newton, a defensive tackle out of Illinois, because they could use some help on defense. But I also heard that the edge is the way they want to go as well. You're down there. What do you hear?
Dude, I have the same pick. Jerzon Newton.
Do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
all right. So all right.
The only difference is if this was you picking for me right now, you wouldn't take him because Byron Murphy would still be on the board, and I think you like Byron Murphy over Newton. So
I do, yeah.
So theoretically, based on that, I should be taking Murphy here in this spot. right? If he's around, but for some reason I have Newton ahead of Murphy, which might not be the best thing because I do think Murphy might slide up there. So if he's still around, maybe Murphy does get taken here, but for the record, I have Newton.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, Eagles. Eagles need a lot of help, especially on the offensive line. What do you think?
they do it, but I have them going corner here again. This little run on corners. We
Okay.
just saw Arnold and Mitchell go off the board, and I think the Eagles could use a little help at that position, especially when you have a guy like CeeDee Lamb that you have to try to defend twice a year, who's probably the best receiver in the NFL now, in my opinion. So Nate Wiggins out of Clemson.
Woo!
Yeah.
By the way, I got him going O-line. I got him going with the guy you already took, Amarius Mims from Georgia, at tackle. But ironically, my next pick for the Chargers is Nate Wiggins. By the way, Chargers are at 23 because of a trade they made earlier.
Yep, and I have him and I have him there as well because I have him in that same trade that they traded out of at 5. Even though they traded back up in, they still hold on to that 23 pick. I got him also taking a cornerback as well. So we both have the same kind of thought process here. But I got Cooper DeJean going to the Chargers here out of Iowa.
That's a steal because I got a surprise. I got a thought on that in 2 picks from now, but I'm going Nate Wiggins.
Right. So we're right there. I mean, I've let Nate Wiggins one ahead of you. I mean, we're
Yep.
all right in the same ballpark. Now it takes us to Dallas Cowboys, who we know offensive line has got to be the pick here. I mean, they have too many weapons. I think they need a running back. I think they can grab a guy like, Brooks or Corum or Benson in the next round.
Totally agree.
I don't think they need to go this high on RB. So I think Graham Barton, I know he's off the board in your draft, but I think he would be a great interior offensive lineman to help that. I mean, he's a center, in fact, right? So I think he's the best talent right now there on the board.
The guy I'm hoping for, you already have him off the board, but my boy from Oklahoma, Tyler Guyton.
Oh yeah, I don't have him off the board yet.
Oh, I thought, okay, all right, yeah.
Nope. All right. Yep. I have
Sooner in Dallas is a great move. That's who I got there.
All right.
Green Bay, you already took him, but I got Cooper DeJean sliding here to Green Bay, cornerback.
Right, we're on the same page because I also have a cornerback as well for Green Bay because I think that's their biggest need. I have Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama.
Ooh, okay. All right, let's go to Tampa 26.
Tampa 26. I have them going after an edge guy. And you already took this guy really, really high. I think he was number 8 to Atlanta. I have him slipping all the way to 26. Is Latu out of
By the
UC.
way, I'm with you. Atlanta should not make that move. They would have been better off at Dallas Turner, but everything I see says they're going with him. But you're right. It's a better move. He's injury prone. You're probably right on that pick, or you should be right on that pick. I don't know if Atlanta will do it, though. I mean, I don't know if they'll let him pass. But I got Chop Robinson.
Okay, we both know we're going after edges. I think we're going after the same positions in all these picks. We just got like one guy off.
Yeah.
Next is Arizona. I have them now defensive tackle because he's still on the board. Byron Murphy the second. I mean, because Miami takes Jazar Newton. I think Byron Murphy is just the pick right here. If he's still on the board at 27, I'll be very surprised. I can't believe I have him slow, but that's where I
got a guy who will be on the board still at this point in time. His name is Darius Robinson, another defensive lineman, I believe, from Missouri.
He is out of Missouri. Yep. Yeah. I think that's a guy that Patriots might be able to grab at the top of the second round potentially if they want.
If he slides, if he slides.
If he slides a little bit because Patriots pick at 34. But I do like him out of Mizzou.
By the way, if I was picking 34, if we were going second round, I got Patriots taking Michael Penix at 34. You already had him picked, but I see him sliding at 34.
Yeah, especially if they trade out of that 3, right? And get or take like a stud receiver, take a Marvin Harrison Jr. there and pair him with Michael Penix. That would be pretty.
That would be the move to make if I was them, but they go with Drake May, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right, what do you see with the Bills? The Bills going to make a couple of moves. They've lost some talent over the last year.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Here's another guy. Here's another guy that you had going way higher in the draft, and I have him all the way down to 28. Is Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU.
I've seen that on a lot of mocks. I just think for some reason or other, the Chargers get a little nervous. They want a solid receiver, but you know what? That's probably where he goes. You're right.
Right.
But
So what do you got?
I got a guy that's still left on the board, one of the fastest receivers in the draft, Xavier
Mitchell.
Worthy out of
Oh,
Texas.
Worthy. Okay. And Mitchell out of Texas too is a pretty good pick around this point in the draft.
Oh, I got him coming up in a minute.
Okay. And then there's talks of McConkey too, also being in the same kind of range, right?
Yep. Yep.
Right. So next I have Detroit going edge rusher, Chop Robinson, who you just took a couple picks higher with Tampa. I got him going to the Lions at 29.
I got Kool-Aid. This is where I got Kool-Aid going. Kool-Aid is drinking the Kool-Aid in Detroit. He's going to Detroit, who needs a cornerback desperately.
Right. Where the draft is being held, by the way.
Yes. They'll be drinking the Kool-Aid in Detroit.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, number 30, Baltimore. What do you got?
I think Baltimore desperately needs an interior offensive lineman, especially given the fact that they just acquired Derrick Henry. He's a north-south runner, right? He's not a coast or an east-west runner. So Barton's probably going to be gone. I have him at Dallas. You have him even earlier than that. The next best interior offensive lineman to me is Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. So that's who I got going to the Ravens.
You know what? They should do that. But I got a funny feeling Lamar has a lot of say in their picks. I've heard this a couple times now. And after what Zay Flowers did this year, now that Odell is gone, he needs another wide receiver. And I got him taking a boy from your neighborhood, Keon Coleman.
Yeah, I think that's another. If the Patriots go Drake May at 3, I think Keon Coleman is the 34. I think that's the guy that the Patriots
could be, but I think Lamar has a lot to say. They get a wide receiver, and this is probably according to my draft right now, he's the best one left.
Okay, all right. I'm surprised you have him over Ladd McConkey, but that's fine.
I'm not a fan of Ladd McConkey. I'm just not a fan of him at all.
Okay, all right. Apparently he's a really good route runner, and he gets good separation. So we'll see. I have him going in a couple picks. We only have 2 left, so I don't have him going next. San Francisco offensive lineman Tyler Guyton is another guy that you had going a little bit earlier in the draft. I have him slipping to 31.
I got Jordan Morgan, another offensive lineman, going here.
All right, so we both feel the need, right, for offensive there. All right, and then I got the last pick of the first round. Kansas City Chiefs is none other than the guy I've just been talking about for the last 5 picks or whatever, Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. They could go Keon Coleman here potentially. He's going to be on the board probably as another next best receiver in line, but I think they go McConkey. I think he fits in their system a little bit better.
I got a guy that you just mentioned a minute ago when I took another Texas receiver. I got a Donnie Mitchell going right here. Perfect fit for them.
All right.
That's what they need, another Tyreek, right? There's a Tyreek Hill right there.
All right, so you got Worthy and Mitchell, 2 Texas wide receivers, both going in the first round there. Okay, and I have neither of them.
Yep.
Right. I don't have Mitchell or Worthy going.
Okay.
Or Keon Coleman. So I think you're more heavy on receivers down in this spot of the draft than I am.
The talk is receivers are going to go very high and very fast this year.
Yeah. As the offense, I think the offensive lineman, same deal. I think there's too many good ones on the board.
But by the way, if one position goes on a run, then they start getting picked more often. So you start to see receivers come off. People are going to say, "Oh shit, I got to grab a receiver," right? So
yeah,
I think it's receivers.
I think I got like 4 offensive tackles and then another 2 offensive linemen, interior offensive linemen, maybe 3 interior offensive. So I have like 8. I think I have 8 offensive linemen going in the first round. That's a lot.
Surprising, we don't have a lot of defensive guys, right?
No, and we don't have corners really going back till that, into the second half, really, second half of the first round, right?
I think if this draft holds the way we have kind of forecasted here, you're going to see a run on trades in the second round and third round with some of these other guys that we say haven't been picked that should have been picked.
Right. I mean, we had no linebackers, we had no safeties.
No.
No. And then there's another corner that we didn't mention that I think could be another, Patriots might go out, depending if they want to go defense in that second pick. You got Rakestraw out of Missouri. there's a talk that he might go into the first round, and if he's
Yeah.
around 34, he'll be hard to pass on. It depends on strategy, right? If you want to go defense, you're gonna have guys like him available.
Right, right. I don't think the
But
Packs need to, I don't think they should go high on defense right away. They gotta go high on offense. They need offensive
think they do.
linemen, they need wide receivers, and they could use another running back.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm really
Yeah.
hoping. So,
All right, man, we'll talk a little update on the playoffs next time we get together.
yeah. And I got, I'll post this and I'll post your mock. And, I already got my mock up there on a separate little post that I did. So,
Oh, nice. Okay.
check it out on Instagram and
Instagram.
let's go. Let's get this draft going tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, first round, baby.
Nice. All right, man. I'll talk to you.
All right. See you, man.